We're going to start like we always do in child's pose. So big toes touch, knees can be open or together. Walk your arms forward and then just begin to tap into your breath. Forehead to the floor, elbows lifted. Allow your rib cage just to settle in between your inner thighs. Take your brain right to your breath. Big breath in through the nose. Open up your mouth, let it go. Again, big breath in. Long breath out through the mouth. One more like that. Just using this moment to drop whatever you were doing earlier in the day, working from home, whatever it is, dealing with your kids. Just relax. Press the hips back, reach the arms forward, and for 60 minutes, give yourself all of your attention on physicality, sensation. Feel your rib cage expand right to left. The chest gently rises and falls. And then start to breathe in and out only through your nostrils. I'm trying to keep that for the next 60 minutes. Come on all the way up to hands and knees. Make sure your knees are directly under the line of your hips. Hands are directly under your armpits. Index fingers point straight forward or maybe slightly rotating out if you tighten the shoulders. Inhale, sink the belly. Pull the chest forward. You want to feel like you could rip the mat apart with the arms right to left. Stretch the throat, shoulders back. Exhale, push the ground down. Anchor through the toes. Anchor through all 10 fingertips. Belly up into the spine. Move through again. Inhale, sink the belly. Maybe hollow out the back of the throat for an audible inhale and an audible exhale. Inhale, sink the belly. Arching from tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. Look up, stretch the throat, shoulders open. Exhale, round out. Ground through the hands, the feet. Lift through the whole spine. Inhale, sink the belly. One vertebra rolls right into the next until you're all the way up at the extension of the chin. Exhale, round out. Inhale to one long spine. Step both your legs back to a plank pose. Firm up your thighs. Make sure your hips are nice and level with your shoulders. Squeeze and press through the inner heels. One more big breath in at the top to push the ground away. Exhale, lower to the ground with or without your knees. Whether the knees are down or not, take a nice slow path. Go down with the whole body instead of in a wave. From the bottom, point the toes. Anchor through the tops of the feet. Elbows glue in. Shoulders trace out of the neck. Inhale to baby cobra. Float the heart away from the ground. Engage the glutes and really try to keep the knees lifted off the ground. Exhale, soften down like you're getting longer on the mat. Inhale, lift up, baby cobra. Float your hands away from the ground and then repin your elbows closer together. Lift up just a little higher, maybe even the chin lifts for a moment. Exhale, soften all the way down. Reach your arms back behind you, interlock your fingers, walk the legs all the way together to touch, and if it's available in your shoulders, glue the base of the wrists together. On an inhale, baby cobra in the chest. Lifting the arms, squeezing the butt and the legs, lift the legs. Feel this nice tug of war between the body. Shoulders pin out of the neck. The back of the neck extends straight forward. Point the toes, lift up a bit higher. Inhale. Good. Exhale. Tuck the toes, hands under the shoulders. Fire up the thighs. Lift the knees off the ground. Lift the belly by pressing the pubic bone down. And then like an elevator, go up in one level. Take your hips up and back. Find your down dog, pedal out through the feet. One knee down or one heel down and then the other, just opening up the calves. Finding some stillness. Press forward and down with your arms. Open the shoulders up nice and wide and then try to wrap the triceps round towards the back of the mat as you drop the inner heels down. The hips are the apex of the pose, so imagine them getting higher and higher. On an inhale, lift your heels. Roll forward to a plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga, bend the elbows. Press back up to a plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, top of a plank. Last one. This time, stepping to the tops of the toes, thighs off the mat. Inhale, lift the heart. Lift the chin. Exhale, lift your hips. Step down to the bottom of the feet. Make sure you're spreading the weight through all parts of the hand, all parts of the feet. You'll get a different stretch if you push into the big toes, pinky toes. Just play around with it. Inhale, lift your heels, roll forward. One more round like that. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Chaturanga halfway. Step to the tops of the toes. Pull your heart through. Drive the shoulders down. Look up. Inhale. Exhale. Wave the hips up and back. Settle the feet. Open through the shoulders. Wrap the triceps. Press the hips. This time, just one chaturanga push-up. Inhale, lift. Wave forward. Flow through your vinyasa. All of them are optional. You can always skip and go straight to your down dog in between the postures. Exhale, hips up and back. Just walk your feet into your hands. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart. The toes are in line with the heels, or even pigeon toe the feet just slightly. Grab opposite shoulders and just find a nice sway side to side. Play around with the weight being forward in the toes, back in the heels. Check in with the back of your neck that it's not gripping, looking straight down, all the way to the room behind you, to the wall behind you. Just one more breath. Feel the decompression of the spine. Releasing your hands, bend your knees, and then like a rag doll, one bone on top of the next. Really milty with the upper body. So you're all the way up. Roll the shoulders back, and then slide them down. Palms face the front of your mat. Just stand strong in your mountain pose for a moment. In your mountain pose, you want to feel the connection of your front body to your back body. So you're drawing more energy in to shoot more up and down. And try to keep that in every single shape, even though you're not standing on 2 feet, or you might be in a big back bend or a big forward fold. You're just trying to create this anchoring towards the center line of the body. On an inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. On an exhale, cactus, bend the elbows. Take a little back bend. Your heart lifts up. Your chin lifts up. Inhale, restack the arms. On an exhale, take a little bit bigger one, leaning back a little further. Really squeeze the butt. Really squeeze the belly. Inhale, restack. Hook your thumbs together. Drag the shoulders out of the neck. And then try to pump the arms past the head. Whatever amount of stretch. It might not go very far. You might be here. Just trying to keep the rib cage closed in like mountain pose as you stretch the shoulders. Release the arms to your lower back. All 10 fingers face the ground. Try to use the base of the palms to drag the sacrum down. Squeeze the elbows together. And then take an upward motion into a backward. So you're not crunching and sinking down nice and low, but you're lifting, going up and over, a nice circular feeling. On an inhale, come all the way back up. Bend the knees, soften out of the spine for a moment, and then inhale, step back up. Grab onto your left wrist. Give it a nice pull over to the right. Nice side bend. Try to keep your hips and your rib cage in the same line so there's no twisting or diving forward or back, but you're giving a really nice straight pull. On an inhale, lift all the way up. Switch the grip. Grab onto the right wrist. Give it a pull and a side bend. Breathe into the whole right side body as you stretch the ribs. Stretch and lengthen the waist, all the way down into the right foot. Inhale, come all the way back up. Release the arms, step the feet all the way together to touch. This time, reach your arms up, interlock your fingers. Release your index finger across your thumb, so your hands are in this mudra of pointing. Inhale, lengthen up. Keep the rib cage soft, or softening down towards the hips. Squeeze the arms into the ears like you're trying to muffle the sound of my voice. Squeeze the inner thighs, zip up. On an exhale, tip over to the right. This time, press your hips more to the left. Come down deeper to the side. Keep your head back in line with your ears. Squeeze the butt cheeks. Go down deeper. Use the right fingertips to pull the left arm across a little further, a little further, a little further. Inhale, come up through the center and zip back up into that straight long line. Inhale, touch the ceiling as you drive your heels to the floor. Exhale, tip to the left. Rib cage in line, hips stacked. Squeeze the inner thighs. Press your hips more to the right as you fall further to the left. Really point through the index finger like you're going to touch one side of the room with the fingertips, the other with the hip point. Squeeze the belly up and in. Go deeper, deeper, deeper. Inhale, come up through the center. On an inhale, look up. Zip the line of the front body and then tip into your back body. Go as far as you want. You can drop the head and take your arms back with you. Imagine pointing to that wall behind you. Squeeze the butt. Go deeper. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, dive over the thighs. You can separate the feet. I like mine hip distance apart. And move through your vinyasa. Halfway, lift fingertips to the shin. Look up. Exhale, step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. So if you step back, you're going back with straight arms. If you jump back, you're going to land in chaturanga. Bend so you support the shoulders. Inhale to your up dog. Exhale to your down dog. Big breath in to settle in. Big breath out to settle down. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Keep all 5 toes facing the ground. Roll the right hip down. So you're setting up this hip that's going to bring you into a balanced warrior 3. Instead of rolling it open, you're really working to keep it parallel. Point the toe lifted higher. On an exhale, pull the knee to the nose through plank pose. Shoulders all the way over the wrist. Try to tap. Inhale, kick it up and back, dog split. Exhale, glide it forward. Draw it into the nose. Squeeze the belly up and in, and then lengthen it back. Last one, you take this nice coiled of a shape, look forward, and then step with as little fuss as you can between your hands. Press your back heel, hug your right hip in and back, and then reach your arms to the long diagonal. Shoulders out of the ears, long side body line all the way from fingertips to hip point, or all the way back to the heel. One more big breath in. Exhale, left hand to the ground, right hand to the sky, rotate the rib cage around. Shrug the shoulders out of the neck and keep hugging the right hip back. Roll to the knife edge or pinky toe edge of that back foot. Get really strong in your left hand and squeeze your right leg back to meet the left. You're nice and stacked. Zip the line of the hips up. Squeeze the hip points towards each other. Flip your front palm, reach it up and overhead for your side plank. Exhale, plank pose, optional vinyasa. Use your breath. Inhale takes you into a back bend. Enjoy each moment. Exhale takes you to a down dog. One breath in and one breath out. Starting left like it's a brand new side. Flex the foot, lift it up. Really drive the heel into the space above you. Drive the hip towards the floor. Keep the belly locked in, the ribs locked in, so you have a nice support through the whole of the spine. Point the left toes lifted higher. Knee to the nose. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, coil. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, coil. Look forward, step through. Press the right heel, hug the left hip. Everything reaching back in the legs and the hips. And then inhale, lengthen the waist, fingertips, neck. Everything on the front side of the body lengthens forward. Big breath in. Big breath out. Just establishing the strength in the feet. The right hand to the ground. Spiral the rib cage without changing the hips. Gaze to your top hand if that's okay with the neck. Gaze straight forward if you want some neutrality. Or if the neck's a little sensitive, gaze is straight down. Roll to the knife edge of your right foot. Strengthen up the right hand. Slice the left foot back. On an inhale, lift your hips higher. Flip your front palm, reach the arm all the way up and overhead like you're making an arc with the body. And then hand to the ground. Optional vinyasa. Inhale up. Exhale, down dog. Big breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. One more inhale. Close the mouth. Lift the heels. Bend the knees. At the bottom of your exhale, when you're retaining the breath, you hop forward. You can always step. Halfway lift fingertips to the shin. Lengthen the spine, hips right over the ankles. So lean forward to the toes. Exhale, fold. Deeper, deeper, and deeper. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. For awkward series, I'm going to face you, but you stay facing the front. You're going to separate your feet. Pigeon toe slightly, about 6 inches, and then reach your arms forward. So your arms are nice and straight. Tighten up the triceps, tighten up the biceps so the arms are working. Shoulders are down, belly's in. Sit back into a chair. The weight is in your heels. Maybe all 10 toes can dance off the floor. And then draw the shoulders down and play with how much your sternum can shift back. Squeeze the belly up and in. Engage the pelvic floor. You want to feel a little energy between your inner thighs, although they're not collapsing. They're staying right over the line of your toes. For one more breath, go deeper, reach further forward, and then inhale, stand back up. You're going to rise up onto the toes. Squeeze from 2 inches below the navel. Squeeze all the way up. Feel your inner ankles reach towards each other. Outer hips squeeze in towards each other. Shoulders down. Keeping the heels high, begin to sit the knees straight forward. Keep the shoulders back. The whole spine straight. So you're a 90-degree angle between your shoulders, hips, and knees. Lift your heels higher. Squeeze the inner thighs. Energy all the way through your fingertips. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, lower your heels. Third round, inhale, lift up just a little bit. Knee knock the knees all the way together to touch. Squeeze the belly. This time sit down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that same pattern back up. Squeeze the inner thighs and pelvic floor to stall out for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the heels, lower the hands. Facing the front of the room, or the front of the mat. Big toes touch, heels can be slightly apart. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, sit down into a chair, hands at the heart. For the next pattern of movement, you want to keep your hips lower than your heart and your head. So if you start to tip this way, redirect your body. Heavy the hips, heavy the heels. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Get your left arm to the outside of the right knee. Look at my shoulders. See if you can get your shoulders to lift, the thumbs to the center of the chest, and then drive the left knee and hip back. Sit lower. If you have enough space, you'll crack the arms open, gaze up. Big breaths in. Really rinse the breath out. Hands return to your heart. Come back to the center. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. Right arm on the outside. Look at my thumbs. Draw them to the center of your chest. Pull that right hip and knee back. Drive the hips lower. Gaze to the ceiling. Maybe crack the arms open. Big breath in. Big breath out. Exhale, forward fold. Nice job. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, step or jump back. Move through your vinyasa or skip it. Settle in. Settle down. Right leg rises. Inhale. Point your toe, lift it higher. Exhale, draw the right knee across the body towards the left tricep, shoulders forward. Inhale, re-extend. Feel the straight linear line of the body, and then exhale, cross that line. One more. Inhale. Exhale, take it across for a twist. Draw it back into the center. Look forward. Lift your hips higher. Step down between your hands. Okay, if it only goes halfway, reach back for it. Pull it forward. Drop your back knee to the ground. Establish the weight in your feet. Flare the back toenails like you're trying to spread your pedicure into the ground. And then reach your arms out to a capital T next to your armpits. Check in with your front line of your shin. Should be knee right over the ankle. If you're protruding forward, scoot back. If your foot's all the way out here, scoot it back. So you have that nice structure. Your right arm is going to go under your left. If you're super tight in the shoulders, wrap your shoulder blades. Wiggle your fingertips closer to your spine. If not, eagle arms. On an inhale, lift your elbows. Lift your fingertips. Just take an easy gaze up. Exhale, elbows in. Soften over your front thigh. Keep hugging the right hip back. And play with dropping your gaze in and down. Two more. Getting a little bigger. You want to feel like your forearms could push into the ceiling. Fingertips could reach to the back wall. Exhale, elbows in. Neck softens, head drops. One more round. Inhale, go further and further and further. Exhale, draw it in, unravel. Straighten your front leg, find your half split. In your half split, you want to take that right femur bone and suck it into the socket a little further, which might change the position of your foot. Trying to keep the left side linear or stacked. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, try to bend the elbows and go a bit deeper. If you have blocks at home, this is a nice place if you have a tight lower back or a really tight hamstring. You can also soften this right knee and get a different stretch. Inhale, re-lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften back down. One more round. Really check in with the pinky toe side. It wants to kind of give up and turn you in. See if you can keep pulling it out. Exhale, soften down. Use the breath. Use your brain to direct the breath to wherever you feel the most tension. Every exhale, just imagine it kind of leaving the body one cell at a time. Lengthen all the way up. Bend the front knee. Tuck your back toes and maybe hop it in for a shorter stance. Keeping the back knee bent. Tuck the hips under. Stack your shoulders right over the hips for your high lunge with a bent back knee. You're welcome to stay here for balance. Or take your hands to the heart. Push from the back toes to straighten the back knee. Inhale, lengthen up. And if you're going for the more advanced twist, Twist through the spine. You can stay here and just work on that oblique strength, or drop down and get the left arm on the outside of the right leg. Really feel this connection. Weight is powerful into both big toes. And then the key to success is really getting this left thigh straight, driving back through the heel as you reach through the crown of the head. For one more breath, maybe with the arms open. Hands return to your heart. Square the shoulders over the mat. Left hand to the ground, right hand to the sky. Spiral onto the ball of your back foot, either finding the same side plank or grabbing that right knee, rolling it up to a floating tree, Vashisthasana side plank. Reaching all the way out of it, hand return to plank, move through your vinyasa or skip it. Big breath in, big breath out. Left leg rises, inhale. Point the toe lifted higher by squeezing the butt. Exhale, knee across the body to the tricep. Inhale, kick it up and back. Exhale, cross the body, belly in, shoulders forward. Last one, inhale. Exhale, twist, wring out like a wet towel. Look forward, lift up higher in the hips. Step the left leg through. Lower the right knee down. Tuck your back toe, or point your back toes. Establish that left hip pulling back, right hip flexor pressing forward, arms to a T. Back toenails are digging into the mat. Left arm under the right. Fingertips crawl to the spine, or find eagle arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hug in. Inhale, bigger back bend, heavy the hips. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, take in as much oxygen as you can. Exhale, eliminate as much stale air as you can. Unwind, hands to the ground, straighten the front leg, flex the toes. Suck the left femur bone back into the socket. Right side stays stacked. Lengthen the spine. Almost feel like you're arching the low back to walk forward. Exhale, soften the elbows. Fold. You can stay at the bottom or find this time to ripple. Inhale up. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. One more. Inhale to lengthen, to lift. Exhale to soften and hold. Flex that pinky toe side. Mine, especially on this foot, likes to give up. So I have to really focus on pulling that side of my pinky toe back. Inhale, lift up, bend the front knee. Tuck your back toe, shorten the stance if you need. Keep the back knee bent. Hips right underneath. One bone at a time stacks you up to high lunge. Shoulders are down, but the outer edges of the arm feel like they're rising up. Hands to the heart. Extend the back knee as you lean forward. Keep the belly in nice and tight. Twist. If you want, you can dive down. Elbow to the knee. Hands or thumbs stay at the center of the heart. Drive the right hamstring up to the sky. Drive the right heel back. And if you have more space in the shoulders, gaze up. Hands return to the heart. Square the shoulders over the front of the mat. Right hand to the ground. Either going back to your Vashisthasana side plank or grabbing the knee, lifting the hips, floating into a floating tree, side plank. Re-extend. Hand and foot to the ground, optional vinyasa. I'm going to skip. So whether you're going through your vinyasa or not, stay with your breath. We'll meet back in down dog. Inhale to lift your heels and eyes. Bend your knees. Torso back to the thighs. Squat down nice and low. Spring nice and high. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold deeper. Maybe grab the backs of your legs. Get your forehead to tuck into the shins and then flat back rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Elongate the back of the neck. Settle back into your mountain pose. For a few rounds of breath, just standing. Checking back in with your heart rate. And then stepping the feet all the way back together. So our balancing postures are a few postures connected. So if you fall out, maybe just move on to the next one. Or if you want to go back and address the one you fell out of, feel free to do that. Remember to stay playful in your balancing postures. They're designed to be difficult, and they're designed to be difficult to watch your mind. What happens when a challenge is in front of you? Can you take it on with courage but lightly, so it's not dictating how your day goes, whether it works out or not? On an inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Lift your rib cage up and in. Exhale, sit down into a chair. Sweep your right arm under the left. Find eagle arms. This time compressing the elbows, pulling the fingertips in so you're nice and compact. Lift your right leg all the way up. Single cross, try to hug your ankle in, or double cross, wrap it around the back side of your left calf. Begin to sit down. Keep pulling the arms down. Squeeze and sit a little deeper. You can sit nice and low on one leg. Pull the hips forward, the rib cage up and in, and sit as deep as you can. Focus on one non-moving spot, your drishti, your focal point. And then breathe. Keeping the bind of the arms, moving into warrior three, you'll unravel your right leg, 90-degree flexion. Take your leg past, your inner thighs past each other, and then drive down, keeping the compression of your arms into your chest. You want to find this nice long line. Press the back heel, wrap the right hip, even maybe tuck the chin in and find this long line through the back of the neck. Point your toes for balancing stick. Unwind your arms, interlock the fingers. Reach the arms and toes away from each other. Feel a tug of war from the body. Rolling the right hip down to lift the right inner thigh up. Keep pushing. Inhale, come all the way back up. Release your hands and breathe. Shake that off or breathe that out. I like to flutter my lips just to relax my jaw. And we'll start the other side. Inhale, lift up, rib cage in. Exhale, left arm under the right. Elbows compress in, fingertips compress in, and then you sit down into a chair. Right leg gets nice and firm, left leg rises, single or double reps. For me, this side, I really have to twist it out of it to get out of center to get in. So bring everything back towards the center. Tuck your tailbone, suck the belly up and in, and then squish down deeper. Keep the squeeze of the legs and the arms equally. Feel that nice stretch on the top of the neck by pressing the elbows down. Unwind. Flex the left foot. Warrior three. Inner thighs pass. Keep the long line of the spine from the heel to the neck. Roll the right hip, or the left hip down, sorry. Imagine the right hip actually getting higher to the ceiling and really pull that right hip back towards the back edge of the mat. Point the back toe. Unwind, balancing stick. Squeeze the arms. Point through the fingers. Point through the toes. Long tug of war of the body. Keep the rib cage up into the spine. Come all the way back up. Soften the hands. And relax. Standing head to knee. Lift your right leg up. 90-degree flexion. You can stay here, grab the knee. Pull yourself down. Maybe walk your hands down your shin. And then find an interlock underneath your right foot. Press your foot into your hand. Contract your shoulder blades towards the spine a bit. And then kick your leg forward. Flex your right toes. Mine like to give up and kind of soften. Flexing them helps drive all the muscles in the foot to work, to activate, to help you. You can have a soft bend in your left knee, especially if you tend to be a hyperextender at that knee. Maybe bend the elbows, go deeper. You want to play with dropping your head, gaze towards your bottom toe. And we're going to try to hold that without falling, and then draw your right ankle across your left thigh. Keep a flex in that foot, and drive both hips nice and square to the back edge of the mat. Hands come to the heart. They can always go to the floor. You're going to take your left hand to your hip. Right fingers will peace finger grab your big toe of your right foot. On an inhale, stand up and drag your knee into the side. So you're opening the hip, drawing the hips forward, stacking the shoulders right over the hips. Maybe reaching out to the left. If you have space, you'll kick out to the right. Maybe you turn your gaze slowly to the left thumb. Going back to the center, bend in, soften the foot. Maybe roll out that left foot. I don't know about you, but I'm breathing heavy. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, left side. Exhale, left knee pulls up and in. Keep it hip height. Grab onto the knee. Pull yourself up. forward, and then down. Crawling down the shin, creating a nice floor. Interweave the fingers so they're nice and tight, and then kick into the floor. Shrug your shoulder blades back into the spine and keep a flex in the left toes. Look forward, kick forward. It doesn't have to straighten. You can play with straightening it slowly over time, but keep the toes activated. Maybe bend in, maybe round out, maybe fall out. And then you're going to take the left ankle across, right above the knee. So not so high, but this nice 90-degree angle across the shin, knee. I guess that's not a 90. It's 45-degree angle. Sit the hips down, hands to the heart. Squish and sit your torso as low as you can. Keep checking in with the left toes that they're flexed. Right hand to the hip. Peace fingers grab your left big toe. Stand all the way up and draw your knee into the side body. Draw your rib cage in so you're not leaning over to the right. Extend your right arm out to the side. When you're feeling secure, left leg out to the side. Maybe the gaze slowly turns. All the way back in. Settle down. Roll that foot around. And we'll move again to our vinyasa. So inhale, feet are hip distance apart. Gaze to the sky, dive over the thighs. Halfway lift is your inhale. Chaturanga is your exhale. Up dog or low cobra is your inhale. Exhale, hips up and back. Heels settle. Shoulders drop out of the neck, wrap them around. This time right leg rises. Bend your right knee, open the hip. Try to keep down dog in the arms. So you're wrapping the right armpit towards the floor and balancing the weight in the hands best you can. Feel that left heel go nice and low as the right knee lifts higher. If flipping your dog is in your practice, begin to flip your dog nice and slow, letting the right toes find the outer edge of that left side of the mat into a wild thing. And then inhale, lift all the way back up. Down dog split. Exhale, step it through and down. Cartwheel the back foot flat. Rise up for warrior two and take a moment in your warrior two. Either heel to inner arch alignment or a little wider, heel to heel. Sit your front thigh nice and low, maybe 90 degrees. If that's tough on the knee, make sure you're checking in that the knee is going wide towards the pinky toe and then sitting down. Slice the energy through the arms. Gaze to your front fingertips. Keep the back leg lifted through the inner thigh. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn into your triangle shape. Using the bottom right arm and leg, try to roll more of the rib cage around and then lengthen out of the waist. Flip your front palm, reach it up and overhead. Make sure that the shoulder's not up in your neck, but it's driving away from the ear. Wrap it into a half bind. Use that bind to roll the top shoulder further back. And then if you have a full bind, wrapping your arm underneath your thigh. Slowly unwind, warrior two. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Take a few breaths. Breathe into the whole right side body, maybe sit deeper. And then unwind, straighten your front leg. Shorten your stance. Right toes stay facing the front, left toes come in a little bit. Shift your hips to the back. Lean forward like you're gliding out to a long, flat surface. Then tip one arm up, one arm down. Think about your pubic bone tucking directly up and underneath yourself. And then extend your top arm forward to get nice and long. Reach from the fingertips to the hips. Inhale, come all the way back up. With straight legs, reverse your triangle. Come up to your wide-legged forward fold. Pigeon toe the feet in. Lift your heart, lengthen. Exhale, dive, head lead, or heart leads, head follows. Grab the outsides of your legs. If you need a really generous bend, that's fine. You can grab anywhere that works for you. And then on an exhale, you'll pull yourself through. Make sure your shoulders aren't just giving into gravity, flopping down, but you're squeezing them onto your back and up toward your hips. If your head comes to the ground, you push into it to try to drive your tailbone up a little higher. If it goes to the ground, you shorten your stance. you try to get it back there. Good, halfway lift, walk the hands forward. Turn your toes out to the edges, so toes face the corners of the mat. You're gonna keep your hands halfway, or right in the center of the mat. Bend your right knee, look towards your left toes. Try to keep the left toes on the ground for round one. Inhale, lift your hips up through the center. Gaze towards the right toes, Skandasana. Inhale, lift through the center, walk your hands over. You're gonna sit a little lower and allow the left toes to flex away from the ground. Maybe the hands draw into the heart. You're using your right elbow to push the right thigh back. Big breath in, big breath out. Hands to the ground, crawl to the back of the mat. Switching the feet, left elbow is now dragging the left thigh back. Maybe gaze to the right toes. With or without your hands, back to side one. If you want to add a twist, revolve the heart, spread the arms, and find more of an opening across the chest. Hands to the heart. Push from your right foot. Get a lot of energy to shift to the back of the mat. Again, if you took the twist on the first side, take it here. Wrap it all the way around. Hands return to the heart, then to the floor. Turn the toes in, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk to the front edge of the mat. Turn your right toes in. Hop your back foot in with straight legs. Framing the front ankle. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Hug your right hip back. If your front knee's bent, that's so okay. But try to keep the length of the spine. Instead of rounded and then trying to go down, you're lengthening and folding further over. When you're here, really check in with the level of the hips. If you take your hands to your hips, you can tell if one of them is higher. So just roll and kind of play around with it till you feel like there's an equal shelf. Anchor into the back foot. Inhale, lengthen all the way up. Drop your hands back behind you. Interlock your fingers. Reach your knuckles back. Lean into the front foot, lift your back leg, and turn it parallel. On an inhale, find warrior three. On an exhale, toppling tree. Toppling tree will take you into standing split. So when your balance has left you, or you're just ready to move on, hands to the ground, maybe grabbing the right ankle with the right hand and pulling yourself further in, or playing with balance, trying to get the left hand lighter, maybe even to the ankle. Some days yes, some days no. And then using the strength of the arms to pull you in. Bend the front knee, step back to a plank or a lunge pose. Right peace fingers hook your big toe, or you shift back to your side plank. If you've got the big toe, you try to lift your hips, drive the leg, and find your full Vashisthasana. Gaze to the top foot. Release with control. Hand to the ground, optional vinyasa. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, drop the knees, child's pose. More for me than for you. Draw the forehead down. I like to kind of rock and roll on the mat. Direct my breath into wherever I kind of feel like there's going to grip in my body. Usually my lower back starts to grip just to hold the poses a little bit. So for me, this is a nice place to drive my hands forward, fill my lower back with any amount of breath that I can. Into side two, find your down dog. And on an inhale, the left leg rises. Again, bend the knee and open the hip without twisting the shoulders. It's almost like two twists are happening in the spine. One is revolving the shoulders to the ground. The other is revolving the top knee all the way to the ceiling. You want to stay here, you're welcome. If not, flipping your dog is an option. Try to go nice and slow. Press the foot into the ground. Hips to the sky, fingertips extend up and overhead. And then come all the way back. Nice, slow, controlled. Extend the front, top leg high. Exhale, square the hips, step it through. Spiral the back foot down. And then warrior two, second side. Shoulders down, drishti pointed straight forward. Get the hips right. Right over the hips. Sit down lower. Big breath in. Exhale, taking your side angle shape or your triangle pose. Press your hips right underneath, shoulders out of the neck. Flip your front palm, reach it up and overhead. Shoulder drives out of the ear by rotating the thumb to the space behind you, pinky towards the floor. Wrapping the top arm behind your lower back, using that as a guide for the shoulder to come further back. Maybe sliding your your left arm underneath your left thigh. Try to grab onto the top wrist if you can connect. Unwind all the way up to warrior two and reverse your warrior. Bend a little deeper, breathe a little deeper across the left ribs. And then restack the body, straighten your front leg, left toes stay facing the front. Heel toe your back foot in one pace or two. Shift your hips to the back, glide forward. Keep the tailbone tucking right underneath you, and then take the arms down to your straight leg triangle. Maybe there's a bend in the front knee, just a really small one, but utilize the strength of the quad to pull up. Flip your front palm, extend the pose. Keep spiraling the ribcage around like you might fall over to the back side of your mat. All the way back up. This time, draw your big toes in. Drop your hands back behind you. Try interlocking the fingers. If that's tight on the shoulders, you can just reach the arms out to a T. If not, base of the palms together, lift your heart, inhale. Exhale, fold. Head towards the floor, knuckles towards the sky, so they can be straight up, dragging the shoulders out, or they can keep reaching towards the space behind you, or in front of you, actually. Lean forward to the toe side. Breathe. Each breath gets you deeper. Release your hands to the ground. Halfway lift, inhale. This time, generously bend your knees and turn out all the way in your hips. So turning out the feet really starts in rotating the femur bones inside of the pelvis. Climb your hands up to your thighs and then drag your tailbone under your shoulders back. So your back is nice and flat. Try not to leave your butt out behind you. Tuck it underneath. Goalpost in the arms. There's a slight activity drawing the arms down. Inhale, lift your right heel, sit lower. Try not to let the heel lift your hip. Keep it square, sit it down. Switch your heel. Lift both. Lower both. Stand all the way up, toes in, heels out. Dive over your thighs, hands to the ground. Walk your hands around to the front. Turn your your left toes forward. Hop your right toes in. Inhale, lengthen the spine, look forward. Drag the left hip in and back. Maybe there's a bend in the knee, and then cascade down your front thigh. Deep breath in. Big breath out. Anchor through your back leg. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, draw your hands back behind you. Interlock the fingers. Same bind behind. Maybe go for the awkward grip. Different pinky, different thumb on top. Push from your back foot to get the weight over your front foot. Lift your back foot. Lift your wrists off your hips. And then dive forward. Although you're lowering down, keep your chest lifted. Reach your knuckles to the space above you. Balance as long as you can. And then when you're good and done, hands turn to the floor. Really try to, especially my right side, my hip likes to lift up and try to help me. Drag your hip down and then lift from your inner thigh. Left hand to the back of the left ankle, pull yourself in. Squeezing the top leg will help you balance. Maybe both hands to the thigh. Use the strength of your arm, strength of your belly to lift up. And then lower into your lunge. Right hand to the ground. Yogi Peace fingers, grab my left big toe. Knife edge of my back foot. Lift your hips. Maybe develop your left leg to the sky. Big breath in. Release with control. Hand to the ground. Vinyasa. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down dog. Really nice job. On an inhale, lift your heels, lift your abs. Bend your knees. You're going to hop to the outer edges of your hands for Malasana. Toes turn out. Hips sit down. Hands to the heart. Lengthen through the neck. Just take a few moments here to breathe a little deeper. Get the hips nice and open. Settle the heart rate down. Hands to the ground, turn the toes in. If crow pose is in your practice or you're playing with getting on your hands to the ground. Lift your toes up, drive your knees right into the back of the arms, and then shift forward. Try not to look straight down in between your hands. Look to the top of the mat or even further. Lean forward, and then one toe might dance off, the other might connect your heels into your pelvic floor. Straighten your arms and breathe. Back to your malasana. We're going to lower to boat pose. So if you want, lift your hips, square your hips first, and then lower down to boat pose. Navasana. Knees, ankles are in one line. Your hands can be behind your thighs, and if that's still tough, then toes to the ground. Reach the arms forward if you can. Inhale, lengthen the sternum up. Exhale, extend your Navasana. Inhale at the bottom. Move on the exhale. Back up to your boat pose. Deep breath in. Extend your boat. Stay at the bottom, inhale. Lift your boat. Lower the toes. Wrap the arms, bow the head, relax. Inhale, lift up, walk the feet forward. Lengthen the heart, the arms, and then slowly roll down. Slow as you can. At the very bottom, right leg lifts up to the ceiling. Point your toes, don't let the leg move. So squeeze it nice and tight. Left leg can stay like this. Interlock your fingers, cross the thumb. Curl up and reach past the right thigh for baby crunches. The goal is going to be to get the right shoulder blade off the ground and lower. Lift and lower. You want more work? Left leg extends right above the mat. Don't let it move side to side. Reach, lower, reach, lower, reach. For 4, 3, last 2, last 1. Hug your knees and relax your neck. Maybe find a little shifting in your hips or circling of the knees. Half circling in the knees. Feet to the ground. Set up side 2. Left leg straight to the ceiling. Ankle directly over the hip. Interlock the fingers. Cross the thumbs. Release your index finger. And then curl up. Reach past the left thigh. Little baby crunches. Lift the left shoulder blade. Release. Squeeze the belly down. Release. If you want to add on the extension of the right leg, kick it out, lower down. Kick it out, lower down. For 4, for 3, last 2, and last 1. Hug your knees in, relax the head, neck, and shoulders. Easy shift. Maybe you stir the knees away from each other. This time you can really allow the lower back to shift into the floor, away from the floor. Reverse your circles. Grab the back of your thighs. Rock a few times. After you've rocked a few times, you're going to cross your ankles and shoot back to a chaturanga. So cross the ankles, shift forward, shoot back, chaturanga. Lower all the way to the belly. Open the legs up as wide as the mat. Shift the hands back so that your wrists are directly under your elbows instead of tucked in. On an inhale, find your baby cobra, and without drawing the shoulders up into your neck, find your king cobra. Keeping the thighs on the ground this time, getting a nice stretch through the bottom of the waist. Exhale, softening, elbows pin back, heart reaches forward. 2 more like that. Inhale to ripple through your low cobra, pushing the pubic bone down and then feeling it lift away from the ground. Exhale, softening back down. And then your last of the king cobras. And then softening down. And walk your hands forward for Sphinx pose. You can keep your legs open. Elbows directly under shoulders, wrists in the same line as your elbows. Push the ground away. Roll the shoulder bones as far back as you can. And then look over your right shoulder. Keep your legs relaxed for this one. But as you look over the right, think about hugging the left side back. You can even tip your head further to the back for more of a stretch. And then drag your chin down across your collarbones and over to the left. Looking over the left but hugging the right side back. Maybe tipping your head to the back. And again, rolling back down. Inhale, lift up through the center. Press into the hands, lift your elbows. Find one more little back extension. Exhale, folding. Hands go underneath your shoulders. Legs go back in with your knees, finding a down dog. Right leg rises to set up your pigeon pose, so slide it forward towards the top of the mat. Wiggle your back thigh back, and then you can be anywhere between a really straight across shin, maybe slightly bigger angle in towards your left hip flexor. Just be careful with that front knee. Roll the hips nice and square, which for me, I like to tuck my left foot more towards the center of the mat. roll more of my leg under and try to drag my left hip front of the hip forward. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, soften down any amount. Maybe the elbows go wide, forehead goes down. Allow your energy and the weight and gravity all to have this really nice grounded effect. Anything that's fighting the floor, breathe a little deeper into it. So you're more receiving the floor. Putting down into the hands. Easy walking your way back. Tuck your back toes. Lift the back knee, lift the hips. Suck the right leg up and in. Finding your last down dog. Left leg rises, inhale. Take it forward. Pigeon pose on the left side. So step by step you set up. Once you've placed your bones, you've activated the muscles, and you just kind of surrender to it a bit. And you can breathe the shape more than analyzing. Each exhale, finding a new release. Press down into the hands. Walk yourself in. This time just shift your right leg around to the front. Extend your legs straight forward. Scoot back on the mat. On an inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Feel the length in your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Really hinge at the waistline. Find this nice diagonal reach and then drop your hands. They can come to the shins, to the ankles, maybe the tops of the toes. Use an inhale to re-lengthen, to really drive your tailbone back behind you, your sternum forward. And then exhale, fold. Go a little deeper, dropping the head between the calves. And again, each inhale can lengthen you out of it. Each exhale can deepen. Rolling all the way back up. It's time soles of the feet together, so knees wide. You can decide whether your heels are in nice and close, or if they're slightly further away, you'll get a different stretch. You can even change over time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, so you can change halfway through is what I meant. If you want to start with them really far away, get a few breaths in here. Maybe play with them coming further, closer in. Staying with this nice circular breath, maybe dropping that hollowed, more forceful breath, but going back into that Dirga 3-part belly, ribs, chest, ribs, belly. On an inhale, lift up. Use your hands to draw your knees in. Scoot forward on your mat. Take your last roll down. One bone at a time. Go as slow as you can, even if you're holding onto your legs. And then squeeze your right knee in. Lengthen the left leg down. Try to pull that knee first into the chest, and then maybe shift it off to the side. Pull it more in towards your armpit, hugging it in tight towards your rib cage. You can stay there. Keep active in the flex of your left foot, or you can reach your right leg up, grab the belly of the hamstring, give it a little pull. If you're good there, stay. Try flexing your foot so you get into the back of the calf. If you want to shift your hands higher, curl up. Reach for your ankle or anywhere close to your ankle or heel. Drag your shoulders out of your neck, draw the belly down, and then pull with the strength of your arms. Keep pulling as you lay down, finding a bigger stretch. If you want to shift it out to the side, you can pull it into the side. Rebend your knee and then take it across the body for a twist. Right arm reaches out to the side, knee away from fingertips. Relax that left thigh so it's no longer gripping. You're just softening into your twist, breathing into the low back. Slowly come back to the center and give it a nice squeeze. And then lengthen down. Left leg pulls in. Once you pull the knee in, notice if your chin is lifted. Try to tuck the chin along back of the neck. Squeeze it in first nice and square, and then maybe it starts to shift out towards the armpit. Flex the right toes, drive the left leg high. Interlock the fingers behind the hamstring of the left leg. If it's flat or if it's bent, that's okay. You're just going one day at a time more towards straight, but really try flexing the toes. If you're good here, give it a pull. If you're good there, stay. If you want more, hands up towards the ankle, maybe the heel, curl up. Shoulders down, belly down. Pull with the strength of the arms. Lay down with that extra weight from the torso. Maybe shift it over to the side. Rebend the knee. Take it all the way across the body to the right. Gaze out towards the left fingertips. And then relax. Relax all those gripping muscles. Let yourself fall in two different directions. Going back to the center, give your knees a squeeze. Maybe curl your forehead up. And then hands to the ground, extend your legs straight up to the ceiling. You can just stay here and let the blood seep out of the legs, back down the thighs. Or maybe press into the hands. Lift the legs all the way up and overhead for plow pose. And keep the hips nice and high. Maybe you bend the knees for deaf man's pose. And slowly with control, finding your way back down. Just for a moment, find soles of the feet together, knees apart. Turn your palms to face the ceiling. Find any last little wiggles or anything you like to set up for your final shape of Shavasana. You can stay here with the feet or slide your legs out nice and long so you're in a shallow X, feet wider than your hips, wrists wider than your shoulders. Take one more last collective inhale, belly rise. Side out your mouth and let yourself be still. Not dictating your breath, releasing any thoughts, trying to hang out in the space between the thoughts, softening your skin, feeling this melting quality to your muscles. Allowing the bones just to surrender to the floor. Slowly just bring your awareness back to your breath. Maybe swallow a few times. Let the breath grow. Feel it in the lungs, further out into the armpits and hips. And send it all the way down the longer limbs of the arms, the legs. Wake the body back up. It's an easy movement of the wrists, the ankles. Maybe the hips even kind of shift around underneath you. Reach the arms up and overhead for a yummy yawning stretch. When you're ready, roll to your side, whatever side's more comfortable. Stay for one more moment. This moment represents the bridge between all of the self-study, the awareness, attention to detail that we have on the mat. This place where we decide to lock in whatever information we gained and to sit up, bringing it with us. So go ahead and press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Sitting tall, sitting nice and cross-legged, or however you're most comfortable. Draw your hands to your heart. Hopefully this practice helps us balance our ability to be strong so that we can live our truth and our ability to be soft enough to do so without causing any harm. Take that with you the rest of the day. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, bow your head to all your effort, to your inner teacher, your greatest teacher. Make your own voice the loudest. Thanks for playing. Namaste.